What you're about to watch is a lecture I gave to several founders in downtown Austin, Texas, who are trying to acquire their first customer. Today, I dive really deep into the frameworks and the overall playbook that I would consider if I didn't have venture capital and/or if I was just starting something and really struggling to even find quite literally one customer. And just for your reference, if you watch this video and do want to work more closely with me, there is information in the description of how we could potentially work together. But nonetheless, this lecture is totally free, guys. I hope you get a lot out of it, and I'm going to be doing more of these types of videos, so please comment below and let me know if there's other topics you want me to present on in the future. Cool. Welcome everyone. Like I said, I wanted to do this because I've been to several sales presentations, and all respect to it, but like I said, it's a lot of people who have been in the industry for 15, 20 years, and they're giving generic advice, or as an example, like, here's some marketing advice if you're managing a $100 million budget. It's just very out of touch if you're just getting started. So I wanted to break this into two sections. The first is going to be focused more on marketing, and I want it to be interactive. So feel free to bring in your examples. Ask me about what you're doing or what would you do in a situation, something of that nature. And then as we get, I left dedicated time for Q&A. So if it's like way out there, I'm happy to address it, but let's just try and wait there. Yeah, I have a good sense for everyone, why you're here, so I appreciate that. That helps me kind of right-size our conversation. I kind of talked about this, so I'll just get into the meat of it. Funny enough, actually the last 2 years in corporate, my client was Morgan Stanley, so I was at Wall Street all the time. I've been in tech sales for 5 years. Prior to that, I was an engineer and hated it. So I made the transition, and long story short, specific to the marketing portion of this presentation, I actually, with my co-founder, run the largest tech sales education platform in the world on YouTube. So we have YouTube, higherlevels.com. I just started TikTok, and that's a lot of what I want to talk about in this first position as well. So we pay $0 in advertising. We just went full-time in September. And while I'm not here to sell you like the one solution that worked for us, I think, again, going back to my experiences being in presentations like this, a lot of people don't really break it down into its smallest parts. So any questions before we get in, and/or do we feel like we're going in the right direction? Does anybody specifically want anything out of this conversation?
Do you care if I ever take a picture of any slides?
Yeah, fire away. Yeah, all good. So, cool. Again, I really tried to spend some time here to break this down, and what we're going to do in this conversation is break down every piece of this. But I think you mentioned you're just getting started. I know you're looking at a financial platform as well. Certainly in your space, in career advice, like that's a huge content goldmine. And so I'm thinking, there may be exceptions here or there. You may feel otherwise, and I'd love to have that conversation. But if I'm starting today, I don't have venture, I don't have 10 grand to put into paid ads, this is kind of the flow that I would do, and I think a lot of people overcomplicate. I would pick one organic social media platform. From there, I'm capturing leads. I don't care about your views and subscribers. Then we're going to look at different nurture sequences, sales funnels, and then kind of more advanced on incentivizing like testimonials and building from there. Like I mentioned, this is where we're going to focus first. Like I mentioned, we spend $0 on ads here. I just started on TikTok 2 weeks ago. I have almost 3,000 followers and almost 1 million views, which has been wild. It like completely distorts my experience on YouTube. But I think depending on where you're at, like one, when it comes to making content, like what audiences for you, like having a more technical audience, I would probably be targeting something more in the YouTube, LinkedIn range. Honestly, for financial, pending your angle and career advice, I might be looking at like Instagram, LinkedIn as well. But when you pick that platform, I think one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make is they think, okay, I'm gonna make social media, and I'd love to hear that, like consistency, absolutely. But you'll get 6 months in and you're not making any progress because you're not actually making videos in terms of like what people are actually searching. So right now, like if you guys pull out tech sales, you go on YouTube and search tech sales, you'll see my face on the first page. That was because of a very targeted approach of realizing like tech sales as a search term when we started making videos was being searched 10 to 100,000 times a month. It was growing 900% year over year. So from there, we took the term tech sales and put it in every single one of our videos. So over time, YouTube is starting to recognize us as a domain expert. So these are little things. We can like definitely talk about more and more examples here. And that's gonna vary if you're on Instagram versus TikTok or YouTube or LinkedIn. But I would say that is one of the biggest things I see. A good friend of mine is starting a new business and exploring Instagram and TikTok, and they're like, I want to make a video about this, so I'm just going to film. And yes, get out there, start filming, but whether it's looking at existing formats that work well, whether it's down to the actual like hashtags and keywords you're actually optimizing, a lot of people that just get started have a lot of energy and excitement, and they post for 6 months, but there's no reason the algorithm is going to choose them over anything that already exists. So it's an art and a science. I can definitely get deeper into that, but I want to pause if there's any questions there.
Does the algorithm works for all platforms the same way as YouTube? I mean, for LinkedIn, for Instagram, for TikTok, is it all the same idea? Or
yeah, I think it's totally different, and I'd love to hear people's experiences as well. I would say YouTube is very much, at least when you're getting started, very much, I think, a combination of more emphasis on keywords. So what is the topic that you're actually making videos about? Assuming you're not blowing up like Lamborghinis and you want to make like educational videos, what are actual, like in your case with career advice with your platform, my mindset would be, what are 5 very common keywords in your space? So if you're helping people specifically with tech jobs, what are people actually searching on the internet? Is it how to break into a tech career, right? There's 20 videos you're going to make with that premise for a video. Or is it like, how do I transition careers into tech? Those are actual phrases, and the exact verbiage are things you can find for free on tools like Google Keyword Planner. And then I'm actually putting those things in the title. So I'm making more or less the same video that I had in my brain of like how to break into a tech career, but I'm using the actual data to put those actual keywords in my title on YouTube, to your question. TikTok's a little bit different. I just started on TikTok 3 weeks ago. I have some solid growth, but it's much more about like the format of the video, the actual hook itself, and we'll definitely break into that more. So,
I have a question. So I'm not really particularly looking at doing videos, but I do really like the idea of, I want people to go onto the internet and search, what are the keywords for searching for a new financial advisor? Is it ideal advisor? Is it a better advisor? Is it, so how, if I don't use videos, how do I find this terminology, and what do I use that to plug in if I'm not doing videos?
yeah, so there's a free tool called Google Keyword Planner. What it allows you to do, feel free to write that down. So you can go in there, and to your point, I'm not going to know the answer to your question, but you know, yeah, it's fair. But it's like exactly what you just told me is why that tool exists. So you're saying, hey, is it, you know, investment plans for high net worth individuals? You can give it like 10 terms. Like, this is what I have in mind for keywords. Google will tell you how many, if anyone, is searching that, and then it will also say, hey, these are actually really similar to these keywords that are being searched quite a lot.
What's it called again?
Google Keyword Planner. So like, for instance, if I'm planning content, like we have tech sales pretty well cornered right now on YouTube, but there's other adjacent topics like sales engineering, more broadly career transition, or sales advice. So now instead of like trying to corner and own every single tech sales word, I'm broadening my search. So I'm looking at sales engineer. I'm looking at you know, how to make, I don't know, everybody loves the dollar figure, so it's like how to make 300K in tech. You know, I'm like seeing if people are searching those kinds of things. And that's where, again, I'm still going to make the video I more or less had in mind, but I'm putting that exact title because there's a higher likelihood that people actually click on it and engage with it. So, great questions. One last thing I'd say, and again, we can keep peeling this back, but like social media is an exponential game. So like if you think this is something, especially on something like YouTube, where you're going to post like 3 videos and then try it out, like you're guaranteed to fail. So especially, I know I love hearing the consistency thing. I totally agree on any platform, but certainly with things like YouTube and whatnot, you're going to have to post for like 6 months to even get picked up. TikTok is different. It's totally distorted my brain. We'll talk about why that's not always a good thing. My 4th ever TikTok video, by the way, got 250,000 views. Wow. That took a year and a half. What?
In how long?
In 2 days.
Wow.
And I'm sitting there like refreshing it, like what is going on? Like just total dopamine explosion. Yeah, but for reference too, that took a year and a half to get that many views on YouTube. So in 4 days, I got 250,000 views on one TikTok. I made it, the hook was straight A students are some of the dumbest people I've ever met. And then I went into why that handicap's like there. And it's a great hook for career advice. That's what it was, is like talking about straight A students who are too afraid to fail, that get stuck in a career. Yeah. So, and I could break that down further, but great question. So, Now that being said, I think we talked a lot about this in terms of the free tools that are available. I think a lot of people like to overcomplicate this. Like if you want to make a video about cybersecurity or you want to make a video about what you're doing with e-commerce, like the first place I'm going aside from these free tools, that's a good gauge, but just search other videos in the space. What titles and thumbnails are already working? What video formats are already working, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, whatever it might be. And the message is not copy that one for one, but you can watch that and I guarantee you, you have a different and unique perspective. One of the things I actually kind of glossed over, but this video right here, if you can see it, this is our best performing video on YouTube. It's got over 140,000 views now. We saw a similar creator in the space make a video that was like that. I completely disagreed with everything they said. But that being said, the title and the thumbnail, which we changed a little bit, mirrors a format that's already working. So the content was 100% original, but there's a lot of like context clues already on social media platforms that, again, I'm not guaranteeing any success, but it's all about increasing your likelihood that you have a video that pops off. So yeah, I'll kind of zoom through that. Now, a key distinction here. So it's cool that I got 250,000 views on TikTok with one video. That being said, none of those leads have converted into our actual platform products on higherlevels.com. So that is another thing. Like YouTube, I find for direct business to business and or like higher ticket items, YouTube and LinkedIn and maybe X tend to be good platforms. For more like transactional, I can see a video and buy something e-commerce related, direct to consumer. Generally speaking, I'm a little bit more amateur at this, but Instagram and TikTok tend to be the best. But right now, for reference, like I'm not even funneling people on TikTok to our website because it's such a low conversion rate. I actually funnel anyone who clicks on my TikTok page to the YouTube because over time, if they actually watch 3 or 4 YouTube videos, they're like 10 times more likely to actually purchase a product. Quick thoughts or questions? This was when I was originally going to ask who uses social, but yeah, fire away.
What kind of insights or like analytics are you able to pull from TikTok and YouTube? Like, are you seeing? I'm assuming there's like geographic regions that you're mostly getting viewers from, or age range.
Totally. Yeah, I can pop that dashboard up in YouTube, but they give you all that and way, way more, especially on YouTube. I don't know as much on the TikTok analytics side. And then, yeah, we also have tracking on our website in terms of clicks, where they're coming from, what regions, all that stuff. So, yeah, great question. Any reason you ask? Like, is there?
No,
yeah.
I never posted on TikTok, so I was always curious what analytics were in the back.
Yeah, for sure. Yep.
Any suggestions for crowdfunder?
Crowdfunding? To be honest, I don't. I have not done that myself. Are you talking about something like a Kickstarter or?
Videos that might be crowdfunding videos that be which platform would be best?
Assuming you have no existing following? I would say my gut says from a virality perspective, you're more likely to get a lot of eyeballs on TikTok and or Instagram. So for instance, if you post a YouTube video, especially if it's like your first ever one, it's going into the void. It's lifetime, it's getting maybe 100 views. But Instagram and TikTok, like I said, the 4th ever video I made on TikTok got 250,000 views. So that would be my preference. Does it mean they'll actually convert? No. We could look at how to actually structure the video. You would definitely want to have a call to action to take them to a page or contribute to your crowdfund. But that would be my gut. Yeah. Yeah, great question. Yep.
And if this is, so I have a question, but it's kind of about like what sort of content to make on here. Is that something that's covered later, or should I ask it now?
Yeah, feel free. Yeah.
So, specifically, I'm not really like 100% on what kind of content to make, so I've been thinking about just trying to run like a build in public approach with some of these platforms. Do you have any thoughts on?
And you're focused on the DevOps space, more like develop? No, okay.
We're kind of pivoted a little bit now.
Okay.
But, we're basically the 2 markets I'm looking at are getting to business analysts, but potentially also software engineers.
Okay.
And for the software engineer crowd, I'm thinking to try build in public, but I'm curious if you have any experience with that or seen it, how it worked out.
Yeah. Couple of thoughts. Let me use some real life examples. So I talked to a startup founder earlier this week who's building an AI agent. It's like a multi-purpose AI agent. So he's trying to target business workflows, and he actually did this for his last company. He built an AI bot that is effectively this new company that collected a bunch of customer inputs and like support tickets. The team of 5 getting 7,000 requests a day. So they had no way to manage that. He, for this agent specifically, is struggling to get traction. And what we looked at is he can't even get anyone to take a call. Because like AI agents, all the rage, it's like, I'm sure you can do it, but you're one of 100 people knocking at our door right now trying to do that. We actually went on Google Keyword Planner, to your point, and we found a couple of terms like AI agent example. That's being searched 10,000 times a month right now, and it's growing 900% year over year, and there's no competition. So I told him, because he's done this with his own business, go on YouTube and make 10 AI agent example video, like AI agent example, whatever your agent does. It's using your own product, and you say, hey, if you want a template of how to do this yourself, link in the description. Now you're collecting emails and engaging with customers directly, even if you get 300 views. So that's like a roundabout way to answer. That's like one example. Does that help? Any thoughts on that?
I think I get the answer. It's like maybe, so if I'm thinking about this, then I should probably look for specifically like, are folks interested in building things that are similar to this?
Mm-hmm.
Then that will answer my question about the viability to build in public.
Yeah, because if it's like, keep in mind, and again, we're strictly looking through YouTube here, but if you're like building in public day one, and that's like the title, it gives me like, what are you building? Who are you? Why should I click this? All that. So if you can latch yourself to, maybe it's tooling, right? Like I'm sure there's a million AWS tutorials on YouTube, right? So if you're latching to a specific technology, maybe it's like building a startup to disrupt AWS serverless applications. I don't know, right? But that is the way I would start to think about it is, what are existing keywords that you can make what you already have in your mind, but make the actual titling and thumbnail convention match what people already want to see. So, yeah.
Okay. Makes sense.
Cool. Yep.
I just wanted to add that template you mentioned to collect emails, it's called lead magnet. So you can go to Google and find it. It will be much easier.
What is it called again?
Lead magnet.
Lead magnet.
Yeah, there's, let's see. I was going to say, we're actually about to get into that. Yeah, that's one of many. There's like Card, which is one that I use, and then obviously your major website builders. I think we've hit on this enough, so I'm going to go ahead and skip on that. Any questions on the social media side before we kind of look at the lead capture piece? Cool. All good. So when you're thinking, and again, I want to use examples. This is literally what I do. So like we give our platform at higherlevels.com, we help people break into tech sales careers, and then we also have education at every stage of a tech sales career, and we consult founders up to like Series D. We, in a lot of our videos that are educational about interview tips or things of that nature, we give a free like deep dive lesson, and that's our call to action. I want to give you guys an example. I'm jumping around a little bit, but for those of you like building AI, or I just want to emphasize too, it's like, it's easy to look at our YouTube channel, which isn't even that big in the grand scheme of things with 24,000 and say, hey, Eric, that's great, but I have 0 followers. I made a video 2 weeks ago where I made an AI tool for sales professionals. So you can just throw ChatGPT a cold call transcript, and it summarizes everything and formats it for you in your day job. Only 1,100 views, and I got 150 people to sign up to get the tool for free.
It's like 14%.
Yeah, it's insane. Yeah. And so, like, again, what we're kind of getting to is I don't want you, like, tying all of this together a little bit, a lot of people get discouraged when they post for 3 months and they don't have any following. When I first started my YouTube channel, I had videos with 200 views that still were getting 10 signups. So don't equate views and subscribers to success. If you are niched down and you are actually taking a methodical search-based approach, now people, even if they see your video, like you are the one video about tech sales that finally gave them the advice that they needed, because they're really tired of seeing Grant Cardone's 10x cold call like sales stuff. So I don't know if anybody knows that world. But I also want to reiterate, another mistake is like maybe you get some momentum, but you're not actually capturing leads. So people are so excited that they're actually growing, and you don't have any infrastructure to actually capture and engage with these leads, and naively think that just having followers is a way to get money. This is more specific to the influencer world, but all that is setting you up to do is basically be reliant upon partnership agreements and slowly dilute your brand, as today's video is brought to you by Shopify, tomorrow's video is brought to you by V8 Juice, I don't know, So yeah, capturing leads not only allows you to sell your own products, but also, God forbid, you get taken off of YouTube or YouTube blows up, I don't know, like US East 1 goes down. You have the ability to now hit your entire email list and say, hey, We're down on YouTube. We just started an Instagram. Like, please follow us there, and it's totally free value. So, cool. I walked through that example. I also want to show you guys, I am very new on the TikTok stats, so TBD on that. I'll make that as an action item for the session in a month. But one thing I will say, so I mentioned that 250,000 view video. I made another one 2 days later that got 320,000 and still recovering from the dopamine blast that was. But there's actually, this is YouTube in terms of subscribers. So this is when I posted on TikTok that 250,000 view video, the most subscribers we've ever had in a day on YouTube, which because the profile here, you can't really read it, but it actually links to the YouTube channel. That's the only link when people go to my profile on TikTok that they see, is just go to YouTube. 2 days later, I posted that one with 320,000 views. That happened over the course of like 3-ish days is when I got most of those. And same thing, both of these days were, these 3 days in the last month have been the most subscribers we've ever gotten in a day in the history of our channel. So, yeah. Anyone here actively capturing leads? Love to get your thoughts. Or has this, for those of you with existing infrastructure and or businesses that are up and running, has this made you think of anything differently? I would love to hear if so. Yeah.
I capture leads, but we use Facebook.
Okay, okay.
Because we're in construction.
Yeah.
And so, you really hit a note with, you have to be ready if you start getting more leads that you're actually able to meet those clients. And
Totally.
so I've been thinking about that.
Yeah, great stuff. And yeah, Facebook isn't something I have experience with, but we'll talk about it in a sec.
Something that made me think differently is because I feel like when you're first starting out, you think about SEO in terms of that sort. And we do that differently for every post, but the way you mentioned doing that the same in every post, so you become like a topic expert, is just kind of made some things click for me. So I appreciate
Interesting.
that.
Yeah. And Kimi, I would love to hear, because I'm very new to TikTok, Instagram, so I'd love to hear if that holds there as well.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No,
Did
I was just, I want to know more about TikTok and how that works. Not familiar with it.
Nice. We're gonna film your first one tonight. We're gonna do it. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's go.
Sweet. I think that's the main thing. And to your point on Facebook, so I don't do much on Facebook. I know Facebook ads, depending on your niche, like you said, can be very profitable. The reason I start with organic is one, if you're literally starting at zero, I don't think you should do paid ads. Like if you can't make an organic video that gets any traction, good luck paying for ads. And two, also, once you get this process dialed in, I'm oversimplifying, but it's like now you can just remove organic media and slap on paid ads. And so once you actually have organic infrastructure in place, you've proven that with your own videos, you're capturing leads, you're nurturing them, you're converting them. Now we can turn on the fire hose with paid ads, and that's a separate conversation that, quite frankly, I'm not a total expert on. So yeah, just wanted to bring that together with the Facebook. Few thoughts on nurture as well. Maybe if it's right now just about building your following, I still think you should capture leads. So even if it's like one of the things that we do, again, we give a free lesson. We have tons of videos on advice, like interview advice, what is tech sales, like how to do all sorts of like entry-level and mid-level things in a tech sales career. They hit our email list, and now some of the things we do is we provide them with testimonials because we are trying to sell them. But even if you're not in that position, I would aggregate some of your top content and say, hey, like appreciate you joining. This is a newsletter. We update every week, whether you do or not. But then I would hit them along the journey and say, hey, I'm sure you've got a lot of value from the channel. These are like 2 videos that my audience consistently says are like the most valuable things. And then I'm using that to try and start a dialogue, like, are you breaking into tech sales or something? And then I'll get some responses there. We can start to close them. On the note of if you are at a position where you're actually trying to close someone now, just for your reference when it comes to email nurture, 90% of emails that actually convert are just testimonials right now. So it used to be like you could write some really fancy copy, like, wouldn't it be nice to like work anywhere in the world and all that and write it down? Now it's like 90% just testimonials. Like just hit them in the head with testimonial after testimonial after testimonial. And yes, there's a way to write that. But if it's just like trying to get them excited through copy, it's not working as well. There's still a path, but not as well. Cool. I think that is most of the stuff there. Last thing I'd say, this is more on the direct-to-consumer e-commerce side. A lot of people build their platform, and now let's say you've got organic going well. You're getting a lead or 2 a day. That's like still great progress. you're getting them nurtured, you're converting, I don't know, 10% of that, whatever it might be. A lot of people get really excited with that flywheel in place, and this is more just a carrot to think about long term. But if that motion is starting to consistently convert, what are ways now you can incentivize your audience for a testimonial? So that's giving them a future discount on a future purchase or product, especially if you're early stages. One of the things I missed almost completely and my business partner was really good at is every single person that achieved success with our platform, we got a testimonial, we give them 25% off any future purchase, no questions asked.
Priceless.
Yeah,
For you.
exactly. And so not only is that content for the YouTube, that's content for my email nurture sequence. That's something I can continue to break up and use in many different ways. It's like one of the most deadly assets that people sleep on. And certainly in a B2B context, like if you get a contract and you make some enterprise successful, and this is what the more sales-oriented part of the speech coming up will be about, but I would use negotiate, like if they want a discount, if you guys are right at the finish line and you've discounted 15% and they want 5% more or something of that nature, it's your first customer, you're probably going to take it. But at the same time, I would say, hey, the only way I can do that is if you promise me 2 months from now, we could do a full testimonial with you, a video testimonial and write-up on the transformation that we achieved for your business. Huge missed opportunity and way to work that in. But that's getting kind of on the sales side. And then one last thing for those of you like with your situation, building like a career. So say someone uses it and they have some success and they get a job. Certainly testimonials would be huge. But I even think in your case, like when you're building out the workflow for a career advice, that's usually like a one-shot product. So once your product works, I'm not using it, right? Like it got me the job. So I would even think about building in workflows, whether it's in the product or in email. Like if they share it with someone else, they get a free month or they get some type of incentive. And that's going to leverage and go word of mouth for you larger than any type of like content or stuff of that nature. So.
Yeah, you do anything like revenue share instead of just offering them a discount? Say, hey, if you refer someone that closes business and we have revenue from it, I'll share a percentage of the revenue.
Absolutely. So we do that today with our platform. We partner with several creators. And if they make a sale, we give them a percentage of that. And it's tracked. They actually have software purpose-built for that. The one we use is called Rewardful. But yeah.
Contact providers get a piece of the closed sales. And it's based on how much content they put out there or per video? Or?
Yeah, so we have a flat percentage.
Okay.
And so we'll partner with other YouTubers or TikTokers or whatever. And the way that it works, at least in our sense, in a digital sense, is they watch this person's video. They click on that link. For the next 90 days, it's tracked. And if they make a purchase of any kind on our website within those 90 days, they get a cut. So, yeah.
It's basically affiliate marketing.
Yeah, exactly. Affiliate marketing. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah.
Question about format of testimonials. Is it like recorded YouTube video, or you jump on a call and record a call, or get a signed like paper?
Yeah.
So what is the best format to get testimonials?
Yeah, great question. For testimonials, I prefer video for a few reasons. One, people like video, you can watch it, but also if you have a great conversation, you can document that and make that a blog article or an email as well. So I go video first. We always do video. And to me, I also think optically, compared to written testimonials, it's like video stronger. Like if you're actually talking to a customer of yours and it's not like, yes, your product was great, I loved it, thank you so much. And it's like an honest conversation about the value that you provided. That right now is what I would say is like the number one, because of the fact that you can then take that and then take that transcription and make it a blog post or an email and all of that and still accomplish the text. So, yeah.
And repurpose it into shorts.
Exactly, yeah, yeah.
So audio is more important than video?
Yeah, audio quality for sure. I think for those of you with like a pretty modern iPhone, especially if you're TikTok or Instagram, you don't need that guy. If you're YouTube, maybe a different story, but even so, I think with like a modern iPhone, 4K, 60 FPS, you're good. Yeah.
And that's the difference between the platform, between like Instagram to YouTube to TikTok? Because YouTube, I guess, uses more better video?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, there is a minimum. Especially like there is a minimum, but subconsciously I would challenge you when you're on these platforms and you click off of like, try and be conscious the next time that you click on a video that looks good and the audio sucks. You're gone from that way faster than you're gone from the lesser quality video feed with great audio. So yeah, it's something I've learned over time, but I actually Talked to someone yesterday who's starting an Instagram and TikTok, and they were like, I'm looking at this camera, I'm like, you have an iPhone 16? Get like the high end, like this mic that I'm using here is like they're not crazy, it's like $250. But this audio on an Instagram video trumps any type of like 4K. And actually TikTok down regulates 4K videos to 1080 anyway. So it's quite literally like useless. So yeah.
But 1080 is plenty already.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
cool. Cool. I baked in some Q&A. There's also some QR codes for what I'm talking about. We can take a quick break here too. I don't want to just feel like I'm like slamming on you guys. I don't want to do that for like hour and a half straight. So if you guys want more pizza, water, quick bathroom break, and/or Q&A, we can spend the next 5 or so minutes doing that. But yeah, or actually leave it on for the Q&A, and then after that we'll kill it. Yeah.
Do you use any of those platforms where like let's say you film a video and then you want to post it to LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok? Have you tried any of those yet?
Yeah, and it's going to vary, but yeah, what I've heard. So yes, I don't do LinkedIn at this time. I can get into that, but yeah, we take YouTube long form and then we cut that way into a bunch of shorts that goes on TikTok and Instagram as well. And then I've also heard on TikTok, like I now have a talking head TikTok. Prior, it was literally just like repurposed shorts from long forms on YouTube. And I've heard that if you're doing that as well, it's really just post the same exact thing on Instagram. And like sometimes it works on TikTok, sometimes it works on Instagram, and usually it doesn't work on both if it worked on one. So do you have a preferred platform?
No, I've just seen them, like I've seen some ads for them, and I was like, I should check those out soon.
Yeah. Oh, like, yeah, those like Opus and other tools that, yeah. So I use Opus for the YouTube, for sure. It's really great at breaking it into short form. So, yeah.
So Eric, you guys at higher levels, you guys promote products or you teach the way to promote a product?
No, we just sell products. So basically, like our whole philosophy, and this is a quote, I may have glossed over it, but do you know Alex Hormozy? He's pretty big on like YouTube. So so his whole thing is like make all your free stuff better than your competitors' paid stuff. And so exactly. And when I saw that on tech sales and I realized there was no content, I just started making tons of tech sales content completely for free. Didn't even really have the idea of like building a community, and that's a whole thing that's really popular right now. But it just got to the point where everyone in my comments is like, I paid for this program and it sucked, like do you do coaching, or can I please hop on a call with you? And then at that point, I started doing one-on-one, that was unsustainable, and then yeah. So, but yeah, it's still, that's an interesting question because I do feel like there's still that perception of like people who sell courses on how to make courses to, all that. Yeah, totally. But I think especially that is.
Leader? I'll teach you how to be a leader.
Yeah, exactly. It's like when I worked at Salesforce in 1997, it's like, yeah. But I think that's the move now, though, is like, if you want to do information products, it's give away pretty much everything for free. And now we're at a point where we have 700 videos on YouTube. Like, go ahead, piece it together. Click through 700 videos.
You're already probably making money out of the YouTube alone.
Yeah. But well over 90% comes from our platform.
Yeah, what's the numbers for YouTube? If you get to 1 million views, now you start seeing some cash. That's where
It's interesting. It's multifaceted. Like the YouTube ad revenue, we don't do as much as you think. Like our channel lifetime has 1.5 million views, and you would be surprised. It's really not as much as you think. The other side of this is also one thing where we have left money on the table intentionally is we don't take partnerships. Because one, we want to sell our own platform, but two, it's like, if today's episode is brought to you by Salesforce, tomorrow's outreach, it's like, yeah. So we may get to that point. I think to answer your question succinctly, it's like the ad revenue really depends on the quality of content you make. If you're like, a Playboy and you got 14-year-olds watching your stuff, you're not going to get as much per view. Yeah. I figured. I didn't want to say it, but yeah, it's like on the other side, it's like what we make. We typically have like pretty decently established professionals with discretionary income that are considering making like a life-changing choice of going into tech sales and or investing in a training program. And so that generally commands a higher strictly ad revenue. Like in terms of like YouTube, when they put banner ads, people are paying more money to run ads on my channel because generally speaking, I have a higher ticket audience, if that makes sense. And then once you get, I can't say for sure we're at 25,000 subscribers, but certainly once you get into like the 50 and 100,000 range, if your videos are still performing, you can definitely get partner agreements and like sponsored videos in the tens of thousands of dollars for like one or two videos for sure. So yeah, it's nuts. So yeah, like there's the #1 sales podcast in the world right now. They're really big on Spotify and LinkedIn, not so much on YouTube, but they do like 7 figures in revenue. And like from what I can tell, 80% of their business is like partnerships through their newsletter and podcast. So yeah, it's pretty nuts. Yeah. Question in the back?
What's your current team makeup look like right now?
Current team, it's just me and my co-founder. And then we have a lot of affiliate partners that are established on YouTube. So we have a guy that has about 40,000. We've got another guy that's blowing up with like 9,000 subscribers.
What's your like dynamic between you and your co-founder? Like, are you more on the like sales, marketing side, and he's on like operations and?
Yeah, it's more, I would say I'm like almost purely at this point like social media, and then like we have a lot of obligations with our platform of coaching and keeping students up to date. He's really good. His past experience is actually with, he sold a marketing platform in college in like marketing business. So he's really good. Like our website is like super high end, all the back end systems and like things to actually capture and utilize leads. That's where he focuses. Whereas like I'm just trying to find the next 100,000 view video. You know, it's like, yeah. Do you have a business partner yourself, or? Yeah. What's
I'd like to hear the different dynamics. You know?
Yeah. What is it for you guys?
I would say I'm more visionary, he's more integrator. So I'm doing more like finding the clients, bringing them in.
Yeah.
I'll do that first filtration, and then he'll be more on the delivery side.
Yeah.
And then from a sales standpoint, he's more on like he's good at finding how do we get in front of 1,000 people. I'm more on like partnerships, like hey, how do we get a meeting with the CEO of Premier, something like that.
Nice. Okay. And are you like cold outreach at this point from your side, or?
Like how I'm.
Yeah, how you're approaching those? Yeah.
I haven't figured that out yet. Mostly.
Okay. Yeah.
Come in networking events, meeting people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
People.
Right on. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'd love to. It's funny. We're actually looking at potentially long-term building a SaaS to distribute to our audience, which is like sales professionals, and so it's kind of in that AI workflow space. So I'd be curious, like the problems you're solving and whatnot. That's cool.
Are there any tools or workflows that you've looked at already that you've started to integrate?
Not that I've tried to integrate. I would say one that seems to be optically doing really well in the sales space is a company called Momentum.io, and they basically take transcription, and they sit in between. So it's not even like, my understanding, I haven't used it, is you don't even like log into it like a web app. It just, you set it up, and then it takes transcriptions of calls, and then actually like updates Salesforce, creates structured notes, creates follow-up email, like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's very, very specific to the B2B enterprise sales space. So yeah. Anybody else need parking validation, by the way? This makes it like $8. Yeah, cool.